this has been a great battle between two great manufacturers, two great race teams. This will definitely go down as one of the classics here at Daytona.
Francois Castaigne was a big proponent of doing this program, and he didn't believe in it just as a marketing tool. He wanted to improve the breed through racing. So we did some unusual things. We used the transmission from the street car. We modified it, but it was the same Borg-Warner transmission that was used in the street car with some upgrades. Typically, you go GT racing, you put a specific race box in, built for racing. So many things were learned about that production transmission that benefited later street Vipers.
Well, a lot of the stuff that was learned on the GTS-R really did translate back to the road car. But there was many differences on the GTS-R engine compared to the base production engine. And of course, it evolved over time. Being a big 8-liter V10 engine, it always had that advantage over some of the smaller engines, even the 7-liter Corvette, for example. Even if it were restricted, you could restrict the horsepower, but you couldn't restrict the torque. So that car would come off the corners and accelerate at least up to the point where it was limited by airflow faster than anybody else. And to me, that was what made it such a dominant car.
So some major differences between GTS-R and production car included vehicle weight through any number of things, including carbon fiber bodywork. The weight was reduced to 1,130 some kilos, which is in the 2,500 pound range, versus in a street car that's about 3,400 pounds. So that was a huge difference. Surprisingly, we used control arms and knuckles that were based on a production car, which again is unusual for this type of racing. But other than that, the suspension was updated. We had different dampers and springs, and the car was lowered, so that improved handling considerably. And aerodynamics was a key player.
The intake manifold, you start there where the air goes in, and we had gone to a 10 throttle arrangement, so a port throttle set up. And that was not necessarily from a power standpoint the reason, because with the restrictors you were still somewhat limited by what you could get. But with having port throttles on the engine, the car would come off the corners so much faster because you didn't have all that throttled volume. Spring packages, camshafts were always kind of another area where there was a fair amount of work that went in, radically different than the street cams, obviously. The oiling system, obviously way different than the street car with a dry sump, and a lot of work was done on that to reduce frictional losses inside the crankcase.
The bulk of the development activity for GTS-R really came between 1995, when we started with our engineering car doing our own testing, and 1998, when we pretty much had all the little suspension and frame tweaks in and the aerodynamic package that we ended up with. From 98 through 2000, there wasn't as much development. The car was winning handily. It was a well-developed package by that point. It wasn't just about speed. A big part of what we did was about reliability. After all, we were doing endurance racing. So a big part of the development activity involved doing 24-hour tests, where we almost made it like a mock race event, where you're doing pit stops when the car comes in. Those were grueling tests, and we documented every issue to the nth degree, and just tried to put fixes in place that would kill every issue dead. So the first season of racing the GTS-R, we worked with a few different race teams. We worked with J&P Motorsport, who helped us with some of our development testing. We worked with Kanaska Southwind, which was, their shop was based in Birmingham, Alabama. And then the last team we got involved with was Team Orica, based in southern France. And they ran a full season in the FIA GT Championship. So in our first full season of racing, we actually won the championship. Our first race with the GTS-R was Daytona in 1996. Our last race as a factory, I believe, was sometime in 2000. We won Daytona outright in 2000, beating even the prototype classes.
The proudest moment I can remember on the program wasn't winning at Le Mans, because we didn't win overall. We won our class, obviously, and placed, I don't remember, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, I think, one year, even sixth. But when we won Daytona overall, 24 hours, that was that was a real proud moment for all of us to be able to win that race, because again, you still had a lot of the main competitors from Le Mans, the prototype cars, a lot of the foreign makes and everything. And for an American make to come over there, American road car, to come over there and win overall at Daytona, and it just didn't get any better than that. And no, we didn't expect to win overall. We expected to win our class. We always expected to win our class. We felt we were better than the Corvette. We had a better engine, we had a better car, we had a better team, we had better drivers. We always felt we'd win our class. But to go down there and win overall was just an amazing accomplishment that nobody expected going in. The car had a unique character, that's for sure. I think I'll always remember that. As a matter of fact, we got the car, the overall Daytona winning car. We drove it not too long ago, got it running again, and it's kind of neat to hear that car again after so many years, but you never forget it. We were out there just doing our job. You didn't think about it being an icon or anything historical, anything like that. It was just the day-to-day job.